In today's video, we're going to look at Alfons Frey, a left-hand defenseman from Sweden. He is currently listed at 6'1 and 196 pounds, which to me seems a little bit generous. He impressed me with his offensive prowess in the junior league back in Sweden, but it's by his play on the international scene that I was able to cement my appreciation for him. In the past, I got caught with Swedes playing junior hockey in their home country, so Oskar Olausson, Alexander Suzdalev, and Noah Dauer-Nilsson. To be fair, Oskar Olausson was also very good at the SHL level at the start of his draft-eligible season. But what was happening with these players, so mainly Suzdalev and Dauer-Nilsson, is that they looked to be a big step above the competition, but when they got to a higher level, so international events with their own age group, they were not able to reproduce the same high level of play that they were doing in the G20, with the exception of a few good plays here and there against weak teams such as Switzerland. I was afraid of getting carried away and then inevitably experiencing disappointment with Frey, but that's where he managed to stand out from the example mentioned above, is that he was very good at the international level. He was Sweden's #1 defenseman, and he managed to collect 31 points in 28 games if we combine all the tournaments in which he played. So in the video, he's gonna be wearing number 20 with Sweden and number 86 with his team. At first glance, Frey is a defenseman with very good skating. He has good speed, even if he pushes too much to the side during his stride, as you can see right here. His four-way mobility is absolutely beautiful. His crossovers while he is moving backwards are something to behold. I also like how he uses his pivots proactively when defending counterattacks. Rather than waiting for the forwards to create a path along the boards and risking being beaten by the outside, Frey began his pivots relatively early to prevent this from happening. I would also like to point out that Frey is excellent at managing the optimal gap control with the puck carrier, and in addition, his work with his stick is non-stop and really bothers his opponent. The G20 isn't the best context to evaluate a prospect defensive play, but at the U18, I got to see Frey defend open and rush at full speed, and it was breathtaking how much he seemed to be in control of the situation. Offensively, his mobility is observed at the blue line, while we often have the impression that he is dancing while handling the puck. His mobility and his footwork are at a higher level.
The high slot. Frey goes for skate, holding it left side.
Build champions on the ice and in life while hoping further hockey dreams.
But what makes him so effective is how he makes his opponents bite with his postural fakes. Frey is one of the best examples of demonstrating how to manipulate opponents with head and shoulder fakes. What I love about him is how much he exaggerates the movement and how much he is 100% committed to his fake. Also recovering the puck in the corners, he excels at deceiving his opponents with postural fakes. He also demonstrates a very good composure, as he is particularly comfortable escaping pressure.
Big hit Beautran behind the net as he finished his body check on Celine Wallenius.
But his greatest quality remains the extent to which he can attract this pressure on himself to free up space for his partner in defense before allowing him to make a breakout while not having to deal with an opponent in pursuit. Frey is what I call a facilitator in defense. The lack of panic in the face of the threat of being hit also impresses me. He is a gamer.
minuterna då.
Remember, much like that first penalty kill, right at the end of it, Spence pulled the trigger, got a goal, and Wedge was looking to do the same.
The penalty kill has been very strong.
Det bör ju vara skönast för att man ska kunna...
Defensively, I'm a big fan of his approach to confrontations. From the outset, he doesn't concede any space to the puck carrier, he engages the body as soon as possible. Thereafter, he worked tirelessly with the one hand on his stick to sweep the puck, and with his free arm, he intentionally pushes his opponents away. He has a certain aggressiveness in his game, and this reminds me a lot of Theo Lindstein from last year's draft.
Tror jag att backen är för lång för att det är stabilt så här långt spel utav...
Although this comparison was intended as a compliment to Frey, I could not maintain it since he showed much more promise offensively than Lindstein. The art of his offense is definitely his puck-moving game. He is one of the best puck distributors in this draft from the blue line. What's amazing about Frey is that we're not just talking about effective puck movement to move the defensive box, but also about fantastic passes that leads directly to a scoring chance.
Pucken i av, trampar runt, bra fart där på...
Up top, Orland, Frey, give it a go, shot, score! Beautiful setup! Vigo Nordland barely.
You see Nordland over to Frey, right back to Nordland. Really, really nice. Nordland's not static. He jumps right into the play after delivering the pass to...
Something a bit unusual in Frey's case is that he regularly uses saucer pass, something you don't see very often from defensemen. His execution is flawless as the puck always falls flat on the blade of his intended pass. This pass in particular impressed me a lot. When put under pressure by two opponents at the blue line, Frey quickly saw a teammate at the top of the slot. Not only spotting the player but putting off a highly technical play under pressure deserves praise. This sequence helped demonstrate the speed at which Frey's offensive intellect operates, and this is also evident in the dynamism he exudes offensively as he is constantly looking for give and go. The biggest limitation in Frey's arsenal is his shooting. His shot is relatively very weak, and what bothers me the most is that he often uses high shots where he tries to beat the goalkeepers in a clean way. I would like to see him being more aware of his weakness and use his shot not with the intention of scoring but rather to create rebounds for his teammates. I would also add that although his footwork allows him to open up the play, he is not the best at finding the shooting lanes. But despite that, I consider myself a fan of his. His future is not the most certain, but I see a scenario where he becomes a top 4 defenseman. It has already been announced that he will be loaned to a Allsvenskan team next year, so in Sweden, 2nd division, so it will be possible to evaluate him against professionals, something we have not been able to do this season. I like how he defends, and I think he has some bites to his game, something that has gone unnoticed this year. When I mentioned that the comparison with Theo Lindstein could not hold, it's because Frey can execute things offensively that the first round pick of the St. Louis Blues cannot do. Well, that has one name, which is Gustav Forsling. The four-way mobility, the good stick, the in-your-face style of defense, even if we're not talking about big physical play, and the qualities of puck mover. Forsling has been, in my humble opinion, the most underrated player in the NHL for the past 2 years, and people are starting to open up their eyes on him. Of course, Frey has a long way to go before reaching such a level, but stylistically speaking, he is very similar to him. Anyway, that's it for this video. Next one is going to be on a very intriguing prospect, Julius Miettinen.
Holding on to it. The drop for Frey. Got the shot. Maybe. Frey gains neutral ice. Carries it over the line. A shot right. Holding it right side and a shot. Face off won by Hasselvall. Shot.
A big block. Baudouin paid the price. One-timer off the post, center. Was in his skates. They'll try again. Frey, wrist shot stop, rebound. Off the boards, back up top. Frey shoots, and a bunch of...